When local growers put great food on Tennessee tables, that's living green. Tonight on Live Green Tennessee, we learn about the Tennessee Valley BeeKeepers. Then we explore the final installment of the solar home tour with the Cowans. And finally, we check out VG's Bakery in Knoxville. All this and more coming up next on Live Green Tennessee.
This program is brought to you in part by...
Behind every Pick Tennessee Products logo is a Tennessee farmer who brings you fresh, local food grown with the kind of pride that gets handed down through generations. From now through fall, you can find Tennessee fruits and vegetables on farms and at farmers markets near you. Find your Tennessee farmers at picktnproducts.org.
What makes our state unique? Find out on the new Tennessee Channel, a statewide initiative by your public television stations. Each program is created in Tennessee, about Tennessee, and broadcast in Tennessee.
The Tennessee Channel, Saturdays 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern and Sundays 2 to 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on your public television station.
Funding for this program is provided in part by the United States Department of Agriculture, providing leadership on food, agriculture, natural resources, and related issues based on sound public policy and efficient management.
Hello, I'm Melinda Kiefer, and I'm proud to bring you stories from across our great state on Live Green Tennessee. On this segment, we'll be in Chattanooga to talk with Kenneth Dale, the president of the Tennessee Valley BeeKeepers. He'll discuss with us why the mission of educating beekeepers is not only important for harvesting honey, but for the pollination of plants that produce food we eat all the time.
Our mission mainly is to educate people and to train beekeepers and to help all the beekeepers within the area, Tennessee Valley BeeKeepers area. We figure that about 1/3 of every bite that you take, that you eat at the table, is a result of a honeybee pollination. So it's very important that honeybees are to agricultural. Colony collapse disorder, there are many theories on what's going on. We know that pesticides have some effect on it. We don't know that the pesticides necessarily kill them, but it does weaken them down to where they can get viruses and other pests that we've noticed come in the last few years. Neonicotinoids are another thing that it's recent years that we feel is also contributing to it. But there's many factors. Nothing is actually proven yet. We're still searching that. You should be very concerned because once our pollinators disappear, a lot of our food sources will be disappearing. So it's going to become very important. And even the seed companies are now putting money towards looking into what's happening with the colony collapse disorder. In the last few years, we've noticed that a lot of our feral bees, honeybees, are disappearing. So just that alone tells us that we have an issue. So it's not just people keeping them, but even our feral bees are disappearing. Our bumblebees are disappearing up in the Midwest. So yes, we're noticing it. The beekeepers that are out there, we help, and we're trying to bring the colonies back up to where they once were. We normally keep a rock or something heavy on top of there so that the wind doesn't take this the telescoping cover off, which is what we're taking off right now. We have a feeder on this particular hive. These jars of sugar water, 1-to-1 sugar water ratio. We'll pop what we call the inner cover. We'll give it a shot of smoke here. Just the smoke, they don't know what it's a fire or what it is, so they will go down to look for, start gorging on honey. What we do is we pull a frame over on the side. This is so that we don't roll the queen and kill the queen. She will almost never be on this side. This is a fresh frame, strict what we call foundation. The bees have not built anything on it. We'll start moving over, going over. They've started building out just from there. If you can see a little bit of shiny stuff in it, that is actually honey that they brought in. It's not been capped over yet. Yeah, this is just a honey frame. You can see it's capped over. Most of your brood patterns will be over towards the center because the queen always lays towards the center. Now here you see the actual brood. The brown in this area here is actually the brood where they are getting ready to raise. They will always put honey and pollen around the outsides here and put their broods towards the center. This is a good brood pattern. She's filled all of it. This is capped. They are probably just anyways from 1 to 4 to 5 days from hatching out. Now, we can tell a lot just by taking up and looking at the frames like this. We actually don't have to go down into them every time. We can actually see what's going on from the bottom side and then looking down in here. So it saves us having to get into, and disturbing them all the time. Okay, we're going into the extraction process now. We take this is a scratcher. What he's doing is scratching the tops off of the cap, what we call the caps, called decapping process off of there. We can also use a knife and actually cut those tops off, but usually because of we have to use this fork-like apparatus sometimes anyhow because the comb is uneven. So cap it off, you can see the shininess come in, takes the caps off. The centrifuge is actually, as this thing spins, it pulls the honey out to the side. It's like a centrifuge that you read about all the time, but it actually slings the honey out against the sides. It wobbles a little bit because if the difference in the weight on the different frames will cause it to be out of balance just a bit. It filters out, and this is where we actually get the fruits of our labor. You can see it pouring out into the jar there. We can actually do our taste right here, coming off of here or into here. And we've got some real good honey this time. Real nice. It's got a good sweet taste, flowery. Very, very nice. On a large scale, you can figure roughly 30% or a third of your food supply disappearing in one way or another. It's not necessarily the vegetables and that kind of stuff that you eat, but also you have grains and everything going into your meats and that kind of thing. So it affects everything all the way across. Einstein is said to have said that if the honeybees disappear, that within 4 years we would disappear, or our food supply would disappear.
In this third segment of the Cowans Net Zero Homes, Live Green Tennessee will finish taking you on a tour with the Cowans and their completely energy efficient homes. Jeff and Jack Cowan will show you more ways to save energy and save money through the use of an extremely energy efficient water heater, a storm shelter that doubles as a closet, and how they keep their homes cool by limiting the use of their cooling system through the use of thick concrete walls.
18 inches thick from the brick to the drywall. I think it's more like 18 and a half, but for good measure, we'll say 18 inches. That helps a lot with the energy. We have about 1.5 inch air gap between the brick and the ICF form. So on the south side in the summertime, when the sun's beating in, the brick will get really hot. But you come to the inside, and there's absolutely nothing penetrating that. Not to mention in the event of a tornado or something along that line, this wall would be really strong. It would stand an F5 tornado, the wall would stand. Okay, this is an insulated concrete form. That's what the exterior walls of the house are made of. This particular form has metal studs on 6-inch centers. This is where you can attach your drywall, screw the drywall to it on the inside, on the outside. It's got the same, and you just screw your brick ties to the outside or vinyl siding, whatever your exterior is going to be. This metal internal rebar is welded from this stud to this stud all the way through the concrete. When the concrete's poured in, it really gives a strong anchor and a strong wall. We also added rebar throughout the house, about every 2 feet on the exterior walls. See how thick this wall is? That's solid concrete behind that door frame. The walls are solid concrete, reinforced with rebar, and so is the ceiling. See how low this ceiling is? That's concrete coming down. And it has the ironclad bulletproof door. This is the 80-gallon tank that the big panel on the roof pushes the fluid through. It's got a heat exchanger in the bottom, like a boiler. All right, this is the pump. You saw the smaller PV panel earlier on the roof. Its job is to run this pump. When the sun comes up, this pump starts running. It's very simple. And the collector collects the sun's rays and heats the fluid that flows through the solar collector, the solar thermal collector. That fluid heats up, goes through this boiler. You can feel the heat right here. This little pump circulates it through there, and it's got the heat exchanger in the bottom of this tank, and it heats up this 80-gallon tank. The 80-gallon tank then charges this 40-gallon electric standby tank. So it almost eliminates the use of electricity to heat the water, especially on a sunny day. You notice the water heater was way down at the other end of the house. We have a little button right here. Press this button. It kicks in a pump that's under the tub that has a sensor in it, a temperature sensor. It recirculates the water back to the water heater. It's not a constant recirculation system because that would be wasteful. So when you get ready to brush your teeth or take a shower or take a bath, just press that button. It takes about 60 to 90 seconds for that pump to shut off, and when it receives hot water, the pump will shut off. And then you can turn it on here, and you've got pretty well instant hot water. Yeah. And the water that the sun heats up is really hot. It's so hot you can't hold your hand under it.
Okay, so now we're in the attic of house number 2, the ICF house. And before we were talking about, philosophically, there's 2 ways that you can manage the roof. And either you approach the roof as just an umbrella, where you just wanted to keep the water off of you and you don't want any thermal transfer between the rest of the house. And that's the one we visited before. This one is totally different in that this roof is encapsulated with foam. So now what we've done is we've moved our thermal barrier from our ceiling where we're standing to the roof line. Not only have we moved a thermal barrier, which is the insulation, but we've moved our air sealing to the roof line. So now this becomes part of the house, albeit passively conditioned, it is conditioned space. So this is totally sealed, and it's not an easy thing to get a totally sealed attic. I've tested a lot of these for the Energy Star program, and you can, this foam can have gaps in it, so you've got to be careful about the air sealing. And what we did was we put this house under pressure, negative pressure, after this installation, and we had the installer come back and touch up all the cracks and crevices we found to get to our air infiltration level that we wanted, which is very, very low. So if you start out there at the top plate, the sealing starts at the wall, you seal it, the foam is both, this is what's called open cell foam. It both seals for air tightness and insulates. So we sprayed out there on there, seal it all the way to the top and the gable ends, so we now have an enclosed unit. So you evaluate the different types of roof systems you want and come up with one you like. This one will cost more, but this one gains you a lot of value. One other thing that we've failed to talk about in both of these houses is radon mitigation. Radon is a problem not so much in West Tennessee, but it does happen in West Tennessee, and it can cause cancer. So you want to monitor it or check it. But when we build these houses, we always put a passive mitigation system in so that we can, if we want, we can check it later, and if we need to, we can add an active system. But basically, the way it's designed is it goes all the way down underneath the slab floor, and it captures any air movement that will occur up under that floor. So if there's any gases coming up, radon gases, it'll come up this pathway and go out right here, out this stack. So everything kind of goes to these pipes we've got in there to capture the air, then it floats straight out the top of the house. So we shouldn't have any radon coming up through the floor. And then we've got, over the top of that, we've got that sealed with a covering. So there shouldn't be anything coming up in these.
VG's Bakery has quickly become one of East Tennessee's hidden culinary treasures. The business is located in West Knoxville. However, 5 days a week, they are a tradition at many local farmers markets, providing quality homemade pastries, cookies, biscuits, and breads. Since they're experimenting all the time with new ideas, each visit holds a promise of a few pleasant surprises.
In 1986, Vanessa and I had our first child, Katie. The deal was she'd take a year off from work. After about a month of Katie being born, she started baking stuff for her friends who had small cafes and bistros, and it just took off like a crazy thing. And we were both at a point in our careers where we said, you know, if we want to try a bakery, we better do it now. In 2003, we did a street festival in downtown Knoxville, and a young lady named Charlotte Tolley, who is the director of the Knoxville Farmers Market, came and saw us, and after the festival she called and said she was going to begin a new farmers market and would we like to attend. And we'd had such a good time at the street festival that we said sure. And at the time we needed another source of sales because it was an opportunity to get people walking by.
Every Wednesday and Saturday morning, I head down to the farmer's market and head straight to VG's Bakery, where I pick up one of my favorite pastries, which happens to be his spinach and feta biscuit. Now, he's got a new one called the Hillbilly Biscuit that's making a run for its money, but really anything you get at VG's is going to be great.
When we did our first farmer's market, it was a complete guess of what to take and what people would want. We've always been very well known for having delicious cookies, so it was automatic that we were going to take cookies, ginger cookies, snickerdoodles, chocolate chips. We make a lemon ice that people really enjoyed, and we make a vanilla thumbprint that's very pretty, and it's also our most popular cookie, and it's also vegan. People enjoy that one as well. We felt like they would enjoy cinnamon rolls and any other pastry we might. What was the unknown was whether the scones and the muffins, because our muffins, even though we do make a blueberry every once in a while, we tend to make what we call a morning glory. There's several recipes, but it's basically got all kinds of fruits and apples in it, and I wasn't sure how well people would respond to that, but I do take a complete list of everything I take and how much I take of each item, and over the years I've kept records of when that item would sell out, if it sold out, or how many I had left if it didn't sell out, and we changed up our operation and what we take based on that. We do try to only use certain things when they are in season, sometimes much to the dismay of some of the customers who want what they want when they want it. Right now, again, we're using the Roma tomatoes and the basil. We're using potatoes. We make a savory hand pie every once in a while. We'll use potatoes and onions, leeks if we can find them. Peach right now is the big fruit. We just got through blackberry season. We have a wonderful farmer that was supplying us with lots of blackberries and black raspberries. But peaches right now are the fruit of the day, even though I did just get a batch, half a bushel of locally grown Granny Smith apples, which I've never had locally grown Granny Smith before, so I'm hoping they'll be popular. Katie, my daughter, is now the front of the house manager because I am gone almost every day to a farmer's market. She takes care of scheduling and managing the front of the house here at the bakery.
Yeah, I went to the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, right after graduating high school in 2004. And I majored in journalism and electronic media. And it was a fun degree, but I didn't get any job offers right after college, and my parents offered me a job. So here I am, and I love it. This particular market, we're a 10-year vendor, but I've been doing them with him for probably 6 years or so.
I've worked downtown in Market Square at Bliss for about 3 years, so I've been coming to the farmer's market ever since then. And BG's is definitely my favorite. I just love everything they make. There's the hillbilly biscuit that I really like, and then a chocolate walnut chunk cookie, which I get every single week. It's amazing.
At the bakery, every day we make dozens and dozens of loaves of fresh bread, which we bring to all of our farmers markets, and that's definitely a top seller. We have multigrain, we have English muffin toasting bread, we do a cheddar jalapeno cornbread, and those are each made every day and sliced at the bakery, and then we bring them down here to the market and they sell like crazy.
It's important for us to be out in the community. We meet so many people who would not travel to this side of town. We are considered East Nashville by a lot of people. We've just met so many people, especially downtown Knoxville, musicians who are coming through the town and will sit and play a song for you. Other business people who have businesses downtown that can use us to have a party at their place or something like that. It's just, there's a lot greater sense of community down there, and of course you get regulars here and you get regulars downtown that you just enjoy seeing and you become sort of friendly with over the years.
So I work 4 different farmers markets during the week, and every market I work, BG's is at as well. Any money I make at my booth with Champion Daylilies usually goes toward buying a fresh cookie or a pastry. Switch it up every time, but my favorite's probably the cinnamon roll.
The bakery began going to the farmers market in 2004, and the markets have grown to such a great extent. It's become a personal benefit to me, whereas between the months of May and November, I rarely go to a grocery store. I can get everything I want for my personal consumption, I get at the farmers market, and I think it's the best way for me to spend my money.
When we first opened at the shop, we quickly gained a very strong customer base of regular customers, but we learned that through being at all the different farmers markets, we could reach a wider area of Knoxville. Our customers are everything to us. We have such an awesome, loyal customer base. They really rely on us being here every week at the market, and we rely on them too. And they're more than just customers, really. They've become our friends, and we look forward to seeing them at every market that we do.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Live Green Tennessee, where we take you all across the state to the farms and businesses of those who are making the move to eating fresh, living sustainably, and helping us all be more organic in our thinking and the way we live our lives as Tennesseans. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Live Green Tennessee.
If you would like more information about Live Green Tennessee, please visit our website at livegreentv.org, where you can find everything from healthy recipes to past episodes and more. This program is brought to you in part by...
Behind every Pick Tennessee Products logo is a Tennessee farmer who brings you fresh, local food grown with the kind of pride that gets handed down through generations. From now through fall, you can find Tennessee fruits and vegetables on farms and at farmers markets near you. Find your Tennessee farmers at picktnproducts.org.
What makes our state unique? Find out on the new Tennessee Channel, a statewide initiative by your public television stations. Each program is created in Tennessee, about Tennessee, and broadcast in Tennessee.
The Tennessee Channel, Saturdays 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern and Sundays 2 to 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on your public television station.
Funding for this program is provided in part by the United States Department of Agriculture, providing leadership on food, agriculture, natural resources, and related issues based on sound public policy and efficient management.